When I start out teaching tone, I need my dog stationary, and I like to hold tone, the e-collar itself, behind my back or the pager, because the noise can actually really startle dogs if it's on their neck already.
Good.
Now I'll do this 3 to 5 times. Now when I tap tone, I want to be completely neutral, not giving any physical movement that could become a cue that the food is coming or something else that could bridge it together. The bridge needs to be the tone itself, so you need to be neutral. Now I went from behind my back to the side of my leg. Now I'm just holding it a little closer to his ears. He's not troubled by it at all. He's doing great. But you want to do 3 to 5 reps with each of these stages. Behind the back, beside the leg, a little lower to the dog's head. This is to prevent a negative startle response when you first start doing tone. Tone is meant to be incredibly positive. I was actually rushing with my hand in the bag, so I took it out. Again, you don't want any associations with tone. It is just they hear tone, then you create that bridge of good and then food, or good and then reach in food bag and food. Really separate out those steps. Don't muddle them. Now, just because I've seen dogs get so startled with tone, I put it around his neck and I'm doing a beep and good food very quickly, like back to back. There's no pause. I will slow down as I notice how good he's doing and go ahead and add come. But I want to get that food in his mouth before he has a chance to be worried about tone. Again, this is just based off some experience with some young dogs I've had before. So anyway, I just like to do that super quick to begin with when I first put it around their neck, then slow it down, beep, pause, good, pause, food. Benny already knows all of her basic obedience. So I'm simply layering tone to it.
Come. Place. Come. Place.
So treat is in my hand. I'm frozen. Beep, come, and I move on the movement command, which is come. So the step back is on the movement command, come. That is important. But I'm frozen when the dog hears the beep. Rock back, come.
Come. Place. Come. Good. Come.
Good. So now I'm just upping the distraction level. I'm not holding the leash. I'm further away. Beep. Move back, come. And it is hard. I'm having to make sure I'm standing completely still.
Come. Good.
Okay, so first time doing this outside on these cots, and I'm playing around with what works best. That was tone, come, place, then good and food. Here I thought I'd reward on the come and then say place. Basically, I'm just working it out. What's the best way to build some drive and focus with him? Just playing around. This time I decided to do tone, come, place, heavy food lure, like for a puppy.
Come. Yeah. Place.
Reward the sit, because it builds drive, because his head is up and close to me. Then I say down. So this worked the best for him. Tone, come, place, heavy food lure into a sit, reward the sit, then down.
Good. Now. Good.
We did that about 10 times and it built great drive. And by drive, I mean it created a lot of enthusiasm to want to do this. When I had the enthusiasm I wanted, I added in the down. So it became tone, come, place, down, good, food. I want you to really take note of how much I'm moving though. See all the guidance I'm giving there with my body language? It's because I pulled my lure. I'm no longer doing a food lure into a sit. So I have heavy body language moving back to create that momentum to draw the dog into me. See, a little less enthusiasm when I take away the stepping back. So he's doing really good. So I want to get rid of some of these cues, these body language cues. See, how he does with just tone and verbal. Maybe he was relying only on my body language for come, not the verbal.
Come. Good boy.
So I'm just playing around.
Good.
You need to start to take away all the help that you're giving your dog. And if your dog already knows come and place or come to a sit, whatever routine you're doing, you can start to strip away some of these things fairly quickly.
Come. Come. Buddy, come. Good boy. Place. Down.
So that was a repeat. I tapped tone twice and I used a bit more verbal enthusiasm. I did not use stimulation yet. Or take a step back to build momentum and get him to just be drawn into me, or go and grab the leash and guide him. You have all these options in the early stages of training your dog. Okay, now I'm looking for a moment to do it in motion. Now he had already started to respond to me moving backwards, but that's okay. Still tone and recall. He can tell I'm holding the leash even though it's the end of a long line. So I just drop it and I try to ninja my way away from him to create distance.
Come. Yeah.
So see my body language change? I do the tone first, neutral, then come, move back, make a big deal of it. And I like to anchor the dogs into a sit when they come to me, or a down, but sometimes I will reward on the come itself if the dog is struggling with momentum. If they're very slow coming to me, I'll bend down while they're still standing to reward them right away. Now when the dog is so good, then you can go ahead and do the food distraction. So I put 2 pieces down, let him eat both pieces to start with. Tone, come, sit. And yes, I am doing a food lure. That's what I'm doing, putting it to my belly button. Don't worry about having to add a food lure back because you're at a new stage of distraction work. Now, this was my first time putting multiple pieces down and calling him in between the multiple pieces, okay? So I'm going to show that again. It was my first time using no and stimulation to back up my tone. It's important for you to know Benny is fully trained on the Ecollar, so he does understand stimulation.
Buddy, come. No. Buddy, come. Good boy. Good.
Okay, let's break some things down because this takes practice. Tone. Benny come very quickly, no stimulation tap, and then I repeat come and move back like crazy to draw him in.
Buddy, come. No. Buddy, come. Good boy.
This just takes practice. I know you guys can't hear the tone really, but it is there. So it's tone, come, no, come again. You've got to repeat what you wanted the dog to do, and you got to up your energy. You got to move back. You got to draw them in. And then once they, they're coming to you, you have to keep them engaged. Keep telling them how good they are. Good boy, let's go. Good job. Keep motivating them because now you're outside, your leash is dragging, and you got a lot to contend with. Now, if your dog is coming at you 100 miles an hour, yes, it's different, except during the training phase. You still want to keep quite a bit of verbal connection with them. And remember, I had started recalling her from the middle of a string of 5-6 pieces of food. So I'm slowly upping the ante because she's doing so good. All right, it is important to note before we wrap up that when you do this with your dog, they're going to come flying off a place. They're going to be so excited to do this. So you want to do some proofing. Don't forget to mix that into every single session. You want to do some proofing, be ready to say no, move back in, reset your dog. Make sure they're not getting too excited about coming to you where your stay or your place, whatever you teach. It doesn't just go out the window, all right? So this is proofing. Doing some minor distractions. You can bring out other dogs. You can go to the park and do this, all kinds of things. Make sure that stay in that place does not get muddled when you're encouraging the tone work all the time. You know you're good once you can tap tone without speaking or moving, and your dog looks for you.